2026, the grocery freezer aisle is a nutritional minefield. While labels proudly display pictures of flame-grilled perfection, the fine print often tells a different story. Meat has become a flexible term in industrial food production, frequently used to describe a cocktail of binders, grain-based fillers, and textured vegetable proteins that barely contain enough animal muscle to qualify as a burger. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great! Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. Here are 8 frozen burgers that, due to their ingredient lists, arguably should not be called meat. 1. The Soy Extended Budget Patty. Why? Commonly found in bulk value packs at warehouse stores. These patties are often labeled as beef patties with soy protein. In 2026, these are the primary offenders in the fake meat category because the beef content is frequently as low as 55% to 60%. The rest is composed of textured soy flour, TSF, and soy protein concentrate, which act as sponges to soak up water and fat, keeping the patty from shrinking while significantly lowering the cost of production. When you bite into one, you aren't tasting the Maillard reaction of beef. You are tasting a chemically treated legume filler designed to mimic the mouthfeel of ground chuck. For many purists, once a product is nearly half bean, it has officially lost its right to be called a meat burger. 2. The ammonia-treated, finely textured beef. Why? While the industry prefers the term finely textured beef, consumers better know it as pink slime. In 2026, some frozen brands have leaned back into this cost-saving measure to combat rising beef prices. These burgers are made by heating fatty trimmings, the parts of the cow usually reserved for pet food, and spinning them in a centrifuge to separate the lean tissue. This lean paste is then treated with ammonium hydroxide or citric acid to kill bacteria before being compressed into patties. Because the cellular structure of the muscle has been destroyed, these patties often have a rubbery, uniform texture that lacks the characteristic crumble of real ground beef. If the primary ingredient is a centrifuged chemical paste, calling it meat feels like a stretch of the definition. 3. The cellulose-injected fiber patty. Why, if you see plant-derived fiber or food starch listed high on a frozen burger box, you are likely eating wood pulp, cellulose. In 2026, manufacturers use microcrystalline cellulose as a stabilizer and bulking agent to give thin, cheap patties a thicker appearance. These patties are injected with a slurry of water and cellulose to increase their weight and volume without the expense of adding more animal protein. While cellulose is technically a safe-to-eat fiber, it provides zero nutritional value and serves only to deceive the consumer's eye. A burger that relies on timber industry byproducts to maintain its shape and size is a far cry from the traditional definition of a meat-based meal, regardless of how much beef flavor is added back in. 4. The autolyzed yeast umami mimic. Why, many frozen patties in 2026 use autolyzed yeast extract and monosodium glutamate, MSG, to trick your brain into thinking you are eating high-quality, aged beef. These additives are often used when the actual meat quality is so low, consisting of connective tissue and gristle, that it lacks any natural flavor. By flooding the patty with umami mimics, manufacturers can use the cheapest possible animal scraps while still triggering a savory response in the diner. This is chemical meat, where the flavor is engineered in a laboratory rather than developed on a pasture. When the taste of a burger comes from a vial of yeast extract rather than the cow itself, it becomes more of a meat-flavored snack than a genuine meat product. 5. The mechanically separated poultry burger. Why, frozen chicken and turkey burgers are often the biggest culprits of the not-quite-meat category. In 2026, many of these are produced using mechanically separated meat, MSM, a process where carcasses are pressed through a sieve under high pressure to strip off every last bit of edible tissue. The resulting batter is a pale, paste-like substance that includes bone marrow, skin, and nerves. To make this paste resemble a burger, companies add sodium tripolyphosphate to hold the moisture and artificial grill marks for visual appeal. Because the natural architecture of the muscle is completely absent, These burgers have a sponge-like consistency that feels more like a hot dog than a patty. Calling this poultry is technically accurate, but calling it meat ignores its processed, paste-like reality. 6. The maltodextrin crust patty. Why some premium frozen burgers use a coating of maltodextrin and modified food starch to ensure they brown perfectly in the microwave or oven. In 2026, this is a common tactic to hide the gray, unappealing color of low-grade, oxidized beef. Maltodextrin is a highly processed carbohydrate that spikes blood sugar almost as fast as pure glucose. When a burger requires a sugar-based chemical coating just to look edible, it is no longer a simple protein source. It's a processed food product. This engineered sear creates a fake crust that masks the fact that the interior of the patty is often a mushy blend of water-heavy fillers and low-quality fats that would never brown naturally on their own. 7. The water-bound sodium bomb. Why, if you notice that a frozen burger weeps, a clear liquid as it thaws, you are looking at a water-bound patty. In 2026, many brands use brining techniques to pump their meat full of a salt and water solution, often increasing the weight of the patty by up to 15%. To keep this water from leaking out before it hits your pan, they add carrageenan or xanthan gum as glue. This results in a burger that is shockingly high in sodium and contains significantly less actual meat than its weight would suggest. You are essentially paying for expensive salt water held together by seaweed extracts. A burger that is nearly a fifth water weight and chemical thickeners is a product of laboratory engineering, not a butcher's shop. 8. The gristle and grain industrial blend. Why? The lowest tier of 2026 frozen burgers are blends that utilize beef heart and other organ meats mixed with oat flour or breadcrumbs. While organ meats are nutritious, they are often used here as a cheap filler to darken the color of a patty that is mostly grain-based. These burgers are frequently sold to school cafeterias and low-end institutional settings. The crunch you feel when eating these isn't a perfect sear. It's often unrendered gristle and bone fragments that survived the grinding process. When a patty is a catch-all for the everything else of the slaughterhouse, held together by cheap cereal grains, it fails the basic test of what a consumer expects when they order a meat burger. In 2026, the frozen food aisle demands a higher level of consumer vigilance than ever before. The industrialization of the burger has moved beyond simple convenience, entering a realm of molecular engineering where texture and flavor are often synthesized rather than grown. While these 8 types of patties may satisfy a quick craving, they represent a fundamental departure from whole food nutrition, relying on chemical binders, wood pulp fillers, and ammonia-treated pastes to maintain their meat status. The key to navigating this landscape is total transparency in labeling. As the great reset of the food industry continues, those who prioritize quality will find themselves looking past the glossy marketing to the ingredient list. True meat should require no chemical scaffolding or umami mimics to prove its worth. By understanding the why behind these industrial shortcuts, you can reclaim your plate and ensure that your next cookout features actual protein rather than a laboratory experiment in a box. That is all for today's video. Let us know what you want to see next.